We are almost there. A lot of configurations and something like that. Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hello, boys and girls. This is again Alejandro Castillo in this new episode of the Volley Talks here in the Plus Volleyball Facebook page. Today is Wednesday, October 28th, or this chaotic 2020 year. And well, I'm very, very glad today to receive a very big personality, not just from American volleyball, but of world volleyball. Um, in this episode number 110, I'm very glad to receive here to Mrs. Rose Magers Powell from Huntsville, Alabama. How are you, Rose?
I am good. I'm good. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me over today and being the number 110.
110. It has been a long time, six months and a half, and well, we are still counting. I hope that
Wow.
by the end of the year I can reach at least 120. I hope so.
Oh, awesome. Well, you're on a good track right now. 110. You're doing good.
Yes, yes, of course. Well, last week I have here Mr. Bob Gambardella. Uh, well, a lot of personalities from USA Volleyball and around the world. I'm very, very glad with this project. I'm very glad that you accepted the invitation, Rose.
Thank you so much for having me again. I enjoy doing it.
How's everything over there in Huntsville?
Well, today it's been raining all day and just kind of a gloomy day. It hadn't been, sunny like it had been the last week and stuff like that. But today it's just been kind of rainy and kind of blah. And everybody's trying to get back home and stay in from, try to stay safe from the COVID-19.
Yes, I know. Well, COVID has impacted us a lot in sports and of course in volleyball.
Yes, it has. It has taken the sports world and everybody else by storm. And so it's just trying to make it through that and keep everybody safe and keep everybody healthy.
Yes, yes. I hope we can go back again to volleyball. It will be next year.
It will be next year. Here in Huntsville, we did some playing. They're doing a little bit of playing, and they had state tournament today. And but they did make it through the season, whereas a lot of teams are not making it through the season. There's some teams that had to quarantine during the middle of the season. Some teams that had to quarantine missed the end part of the season and an opportunity to go to the state tournament.
Wow.
So it's very tough.
Yes, I can imagine. But in your college, you are the head coach of Alabama A&M University. You have no activities.
No activities going on right now. No.
Yes, well, I can imagine it's very, very sad. I know that some pro leagues in Italy and Russia has returned to activity with a lot of issues, with a lot of problems. But well, I think we have to wait for next year, for sure.
Yeah, we have to wait till next year for sure. The NBA did it right when they put them in the bubble,
Yeah, in the
but
bubble.
if not everybody can go to the bubble, so and execute the bubble the way they did, but they did a good job with that.
Yes, well, yesterday, for example, the LA Dodgers won the World Series, and I read that in the last minute, Justin Turner gave a positive to COVID, and he wasn't allowed to go to the celebration,
I
for example.
know, right? It was, I mean, but sometimes it's just for the best to stay the distance and the quarantine. It's just best right now. So, we just got to abide by the rule and, try to get this taken care of, as soon as we possibly can.
Yes, yes. When you were a player, what's the most near experience as COVID in this time?
I don't think we had anything like this. This is just unprecedented. No one ever expected we would be living through a pandemic right now and just trying to be safe. Whenever we were playing back in the day, there was nothing, like this. We had the flu bugs and stuff that come through and different viruses, but it was nothing like this.
Yes, yes, it's the same for all of us. But well, I hope we can go back to the activity of volleyball in next year, maybe February, March. I don't know, but hope in 2021 we can go back to volleyball. But well, again, Rosa, thanks for being here. It's you. I don't have the opportunity to talk every day with an Olympian silver medalist. It's very truly an honor to have you here in the show.
Thank you for having me again. We start volleyball, and it is a sport that you can do for a lifetime. You can do it forever, a long time. And, I started playing volleyball at a very young age of like 12 or not 10.
You are from Texas, right? You
Yes, I'm
started in
from
Texas.
Texas. I started in Texas, and my oldest sister played volleyball. So I was young, and so I would go make my mom, whenever my mom and dad would go to pick her up, I would want to go with them so that I could see if I could play. Well, the coach never would let me get on the floor. She would just say, go up against the wall and hit these balls. So I would go and hit all these thousands and thousands of balls up against the wall. And every several days, she would teach me a new skill, whether it was hitting with the right hand, hitting with the left hand, jump and hit the ball. Then she would teach me how to pass. And I would pass and I'd hit, and I'd pass and hit. Then she taught me to set. So I'd pass, set, and hit it, jump and hit it, and all kind of stuff. And then the note to the elementary school came in saying, hey, we're having tryouts for the 7th grade volleyball team. So I'm all excited, and I go into the practice this day, and I tell the coach, hey, I need to see if I can do this. And because we have tryouts coming up for next year. So she tossed them. She says, I'm going to toss the ball. I want you to run, jump, and hit it. I'm like, okay, I can do that. So she tossed it. I ran, jumped, and I hit this ball, and it was a good hit. And she tossed it again, and I hit this ball, and it was a good hit. The third ball, I hit it all the way to the wall. I missed everything. I mean, just sent it all the way to the wall. She says, don't worry. You might hit a whole lot of them like that. Don't worry. Don't worry, but you're going to be okay. So that's how I kind of got started playing volleyball, just watching my sister play and trying to get involved. At the high school, when I didn't need to be, I was too young, but I was always taller than everybody. I was already almost 6 foot tall. So I was tall, and, I liked volleyball. We used to have this game called tetherball. You know what that is?
No, not exactly.
It's a ball with a stick. It has a stick, goes in the ground, and you hit it and it goes in a circle.
Oh yeah, I know that.
And I was the champion all the time. So because I was taller than everybody, so they couldn't get it past me. But we used to play this game all the time. So I got used to hitting balls all the time. So that was one of the things I think also helped me with volleyball.
Great. So, Rose, volleyball, it was always your first choice, or did you practice another sport?
I played baseball. I played softball. I ran track. I played basketball, played around tennis a little bit. And then volleyball, I chose volleyball because I thought I was getting out of running in basketball. Because when I was in basketball and track, I was running a lot in basketball. I'm like, I don't like that too much, so I chose volleyball thinking I wouldn't have to do a whole lot of running. But when I got to college, I had to run a little bit too. So it was, so I did a lot of other sports, and I think that helped me get myself mentally tough enough to play at the next level.
Yes, I can imagine. So, well, you told me that you started at maybe 11, 12 years old. How was your evolution in volleyball? You played club volleyball, then high school, and how you went to college?
We did not have club volleyball back in the day.
Really?
No, we did not. And so as I went through the process from middle school, then to high school, and getting stronger on a daily basis. And, then the colleges at the time started recruiting me in high school. And then University of Houston, Ruth Nelson showed up at my door. Yeah, she showed up at my door and wanted me to come to University of Houston. She told me that I would get a chance to play. The story goes, Flo Hyman played for University of Houston also.
Oh, really? Great.
Yes.
Great.
So Rita Crockett thought she was going to come and play with Flo Hyman. So Flo Hyman left to go to the national team, and Rita was there. And then so Ruth came in and told me that Rita would be there and I would get an opportunity to play with Rita. Well, when I got to the team, Rita left and went to the national team too. So neither one of us got to play with each other until we got to the national team. So at University of Houston, I spent 3 years there with Ruth Nelson, and then she left University of Houston and went to LSU, and I went with her. And then after LSU, my year at LSU, the Olympic team came calling. And so at that point, I went to the national team in 1982 to start training with the national team. So when I got there, Rita is there, Flo is there, Paula Weishoff is there, Debbie Green, and the team is there. And so I joined them like January the 5th of 82.
Wow.
Yeah. And started practicing with the national team and, went all over the world training and playing against the top players in the world, Medea Lewis, Cecilia Tate, Kumi Nakata, playing against them and eventually making it on when we first get there, it's called the national team. And a lot of people make that team and go. And then there's a vote. You have to be, you have maybe almost like a tryout, but a vote whether or not you're going to be on the Olympic team. So that team is not picked until like a couple of months before the Olympics.
Yes.
So.
Oh, and please tell us something, Rose, about the environment in '82. What I mean is, the Olympic team, the USA Volleyball Olympic team, didn't attend Moscow. So how was the feeling at that time that you have the opportunity to play or to reach for a spot in the Los Angeles '84 Olympic team? How was the environment at that time in USA?
I think when I got there, they had been, a couple of years away from not going to Moscow. And so, but that group of girls that was training still, Debbie and Flo and Rita and Lori Flockmeyer, they're still training together because they still had a goal in mind, what they wanted to do. They wanted to be Olympians.
Yes, right.
And so they stayed and they continued to work to be diligent about what they're doing so that they could now in '84, since it was going to be at home on our home turf, that we would still be the best team that they put on the floor at that time. So I think, they missed it. They missed the opportunity of going to Moscow. But the drive in those girls was so big still that they didn't mind putting in the extra 4 years, some of them, I think Flo had been there for several years beforehand. And so she didn't mind. She's asked to continue on, and she did. And so she made sure, that the team was good. We were all working for the same common goal of being an Olympian and representing the United States to the best of our ability. And, days it was hard and, the practices was long but we all had to lean and depend on each other. And we did that. And so we came out with the first silver medal that the USA team ever had.
Yeah, I remember perfectly that team. I started following volleyball in '84 Olympics. The men's team with Karch, Steve Timmons, Dusty DeVore, etc., and your team with you, Rose Magers, and Elaine Oden played in '84. And
no, she was after us.
Okay.
Elena was after us. Rita and Flo,
Paula
Lori,
Weisskopf.
Paula.
Yeah. And how was the process that you get to the national team? Uh, you arrived to practice on 82, and you have, I think, the desire to make the team, right, for the Olympics.
When I was coming up through high school, and I found it the other day, when I was in high school and I chose to be an all-star. They have the all-star games at the high school level. So I was chosen to be an all-star. And one of the players that was on the team, her name was Valerie Harris, I think, Valerie, and she had written in a book. You have the program book and stuff like that. So she had written on my program book that she looked forward to the day that she would see me in the Olympics. And so I took this book with me everywhere. So from the All-Star game, Ruth Nelson came and recruited me to come to University of Houston. So I went to University of Houston. I have this book with me all the time. And I kept it. Sometime, we tell the kids, put it on your mirror so you can see it every day, so that you can have a goal. You know what you're looking for. You know what where you're trying to go at this point. So I have this book with me at all times. And just knowing that she saw something in me as a player in high school, that the possibility of me being an Olympian, that maybe that's something I should strive for. So in college, I'm working hard and I'm going hard and I'm trying to see that dream. You want to look at it. You want to see it on an everyday basis. And then as I go through the college process and I'm getting better every day, and Ruth is training me, and, I make the Pan American Games. We go to the Pac Rim. And so I'm making the next steps, being invited to play on and represent the United States at different times. So when Ari Selinger came and asked me to join the national team, I asked him at that particular time, am I coming to try out, or am I coming to be on the team? He says, well, physically, you can physically do it. I think you can. He said, how strong are you mentally would be my question. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm mentally tough enough. I believe I'm tough. So I packed up all my stuff and I headed to California. And from that's how it all got started. And that was my path of going. And, training prior to that, Ruth Nelson, she ran, practices because she was a part of the national team and watched how Ari did things. And she made sure we were where we needed to be. And, I was tall, and in high school, I was a setter also. Everybody kind of just remember me as a middle hitter because that's what I played in the Olympics. But in high school, I was a setter. And I hit also too. But when I got to the back row, I was a setter. Then when I got to University of Houston, I was a hitter and I was a setter also. And someone always told me, Ruth told me, or my high school coach told me, if you can set, you can make any team. So I set in high school, I set some in college. And then when I got to the national team, I was setting second setter behind Debbie Green and Carolyn Becker. So I set on and played right side at that point too. But Ari didn't know kind of what he wanted to do with me because I could play multiple positions. So I remember one time he put me in to set against the Japanese. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be fun. I was nervous, very, very nervous. But it went okay. But I didn't set but a few balls. And then he took me out. So I was like, okay, that didn't go so good after all, So.
Right. So in what date did Ari Salinger told you are in the team? 1 year previous the Olympics, something like that.
Well, when I got there January the 5th, I took all my stuff because I felt like I was strong enough to be a part of the team. He was gonna have to send me home if if I didn't make it or something. But I went with intention to be on the team. I didn't go thinking that I'm not gonna make the team. I went with the intention of being. It was intentional. I wanted to be a part of the team. I, you know, I pivoted, I turned around, I looked at it and said, hey, I can do this. It's going to be hard. And Ruth Nelson told me, she said, it's going to be hard work. You're practicing every day from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. It was my job. And I said, okay, this is a job. And just because it's a little hard does not mean you quit. So I kept working and I kept working and was a part of the team. You know, I think it was 12 or 13, 14 of us there training at that particular time. And so I don't think he wanted to get rid of any of us at that time, just train it out. And maybe he thought if they didn't like it, if one of the 12 or 14 didn't like it, they'd just quit, you know, if it was too hard for them. But we all stuck it out all the way to the end.
Right. And at that time, the national team trained in San Diego.
We were in Costa de Casa. We was in Costa de Casa in Laguna Hills, a little further north. Yeah.
All
So
right.
Laguna
And
Beach
yes,
area.
yes, yes. And how was the feeling inside the team, knowing that you are going to play Olympics in American soil? Extra pressure.
Oh yeah, it was pressure. It was thinking, okay, when you go away, I'm thinking that when you go away, everybody don't know you so much. You're in a foreign country, but you're at home now. But it's a great thing because guess what? Everybody, all your family members get a chance to come and they
Yeah.
sit in the audience and they cheer for you. You know that they are the friendlies, you know? So, so it was wonderful being at home and being able to represent the United States. And it was pressure, of course, because now not only just your family is watching, everybody in the area that you know, your neighbors and everybody knows, and then your hometown. Everybody in your hometown is watching, and people from your hometown is buying tickets to come to the games. And the news people are making phone calls to you to say, hey, you're from Big Spring, Texas. What does it feel like? And, they call my mom and my sisters and stuff like that and say, you know, let me tell you a story. The people in my home area did not even realize that I was going to be in the Olympics until like 3 days before my mom was to leave. And my sister picked up the phone and called him and told him, says, they were doing stories of Texas Olympians. And my sister picked up the phone and called him and says, we have a local that's here, that's from here, that's going to be in the Olympics. They're like, no way, no way. And they said, oh yeah, she's going to be in the Olympics. And gave him my name. And they did the research real quick. And immediately they were at my mother's and father's house to do an interview of them and talk about me being in the Olympics. And my mom and them are getting ready to get on the plane to come to Los Angeles for the Olympics. And so then everybody in my area, West Texas, knew that I was going to be in the Olympics at that time. Because, whenever you're traveling with the national team, not everybody knows that you're on that team. Because we didn't play a whole lot in the United States. It was popular, but it was not the mainstream. So not many people knew that who was going to be on the Olympic team.
Especially in the mid 80s. Today could be in the mid 80s.
Yeah. In the 80s, nobody knew. We didn't have all this technology and stuff like that. But now everybody knows you can put the information out there and it just goes crazy that everybody's going to be in the Olympics and stuff like that. But back in the day, didn't nobody really know who was going to be on the Olympic team until they got there, and they're showing it. So in my hometown, oh, it was wonderful being able to, once the Olympics was over and we had won our silver medal, and then going home was, I mean, amazing. They gave me a parade. They gave me all types of days. I have my own workout trail in the park. I mean, they really just opened their arms and gave me a key to the city and all kind of stuff, you know. But during the Olympics, I got so many flowers from people from home, you know, just wishing me good luck, and they'll be watching. It was absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yes, I can imagine, Rose. Thanks for sharing. Well, here I'm watching here the results of the '84 Olympics. Let me remind that you
Okay.
were in group A.
Yeah.
You defeated in your first game West Germany 3-0.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then you defeated Brazil 3-2.
Oh, that was an awesome match. We were down 2-0.
Oh, really?
We were down 2-0. They thought they had us. They thought they had us. And then Ari came in and says, "You guys, you got to get this match." And we came alive, and it went 5. But it was a great match. I mean, Brazil was all over us. They were.
I think they always are.
They are. It's a hard team. I mean, they're full of energy, and they're out there speaking that Portuguese and yelling and screaming and running around on the floor, and the energy for them was big, and we had to shut that energy down and do some extra special things. And so Ari just said, "You guys, we got to have this match. We need to have this match." So
Right.
we pulled it all together and we got the match. But you know, the thing is, we trained. Sometimes people don't understand, whenever you're training, the way you train for certain things is what happens in the outcome. So when we were in our training sessions, we would play, the A team is playing the B team. You're down 2-0, you cannot lose, right? The scores is now 23-15, you cannot lose. So we trained a lot of scenarios at that time. And so this one particular scenario, we're down 2-0, we can't lose, was sometimes some things that we trained for too. And we came alive. It was just like training, just like practice, and we put it together.
Yeah, well, and I think, especially thinking that your next game was against China
Yeah.
with Jenny Langping, the hammer.
Yes, it was. And
You won also 3-1, but well, you have to win to Brazil and then win China.
yes, and that was a placement. We wanted to make sure that we are crossing over against a certain team so that we can make it to the finals. You know, whenever I got to the national team, and I'm learning about the different countries of China and Brazil and Cuba and Russia, and just learning the character of the teams and stuff like that. That for China, from 1983 or 82, it was we win, they win. We win, they win. We win, and they win. So whenever we get to the Olympics, it was we win in the semifinals, and they won. And it was still the same scenario. I don't know what we could have done different,
Yeah, right, of course. And well, then in semifinals, you beat Peru with Cecilia Tait, that amazing
Yes.
generation of Peruvian players.
Yes. Cecilia Tate, and being left-handed, I mean, she was very difficult to block, very aggressive young lady, but we handled them okay, and got past Peru and went on to the finals to see China again.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
team you beat in the preliminary round.
In the preliminary rounds, yes. And like I said, it was USA, China, USA, China forever. Forever. It just, every time we would meet, it was just go in that sequence.
What was the thing you remember the most from the gold medal match against China?
The gold medal match against China. The the day of the match, there was so many things going on, and just trying to prepare yourself mentally for this one moment. And this one moment, makes a difference of a gold medal or silver medal. And we're preparing for the match. And, we come into the arena, and we're waiting, and we're in our locker room, and we are all, taking the time to prepare ourselves mentally for the match. Physically, we're okay. Mentally, you're putting your game face on. You're trying to see the balls and see how you're going to handle different things in the game, and then going to the warm-up and preparing, because you're now 1 hour away from game time.
Again, in U.S. soil, with no...
on my soil, and on my home. And you know how it is whenever you go to different games. You say, you defend your home court, and that is the thinking of defending our home court and going out there to perform to the best of our ability, not taking anything from China, because they train just as hard as we did. We all are preparing for this one battle, and they're doing the same things. And now it's coming in and doing the best that you possibly can to win that ball game. We fell short.
Yes, at the end they won 3-0.
Yes, they won. They won it 3-0.
Okay, Rose, can you tell us which was the lineup of USA in that match, or the regular lineup for all the Olympics and in the gold medal match?
The gold medal match, you had Debbie Green, you had Flo Hyman next to her, you had myself next to Flo, and then you had Sue Woodstra opposite Debbie Green. You had Rita in middle back opposite Flo, and Paula Weisoff opposite me. So that was the starting lineup. And that was the starting lineup for the 6 months prior to the Olympics. And, it was a good unit of players. And, at any time, even the players on the bench could come in, and we didn't lose any momentum. And that's what a good team does. You don't lose momentum just because you have to have a substitute here or there. And, for the Olympics, if you don't play in a match, if you don't play, you don't get a medal. So everyone had to know that they have to be ready to contribute all the time. Their numbers, if your number is called, you have to go contribute. And so all the 12 girls that's on the team knew that if at any time that Ari and the team was depending on them to come in and contribute. And so everybody was ready to come in and contribute through the whole Olympics. And that's what was the beauty of having a good team. We were all committed. We were committed not only to the game, but to each other, that we were going to work for each other.
Wow, you mentioned big names in volleyball. Paula Weiskopf, Rhea Crockett, Flo Hyman, Sue Woodstra, yourself. A pretty amazing team.
It was an amazing team. Everybody just worked for each other, and that's what made everybody good. Debbie Green could put the ball in our hands. Sue Woodstra could pass the ball and put the ball on target. We could pass, we could play defense, we could do everything. So we all just helped make each other better. In the 2.5 years I was there playing and training, it was about making each other better down the road and competing and being able to compete when it come game day. We competed in practice, and then whenever we got to the games, it was a little bit easier because we competed so hard in practice. You know, in our gym, one day we took and went in and along the wall, all the way around the wall, we put numbers of the number of days we had left before the Olympics. And so it was a countdown. Every day we marked the day down. And every day it was to go in and improve yourself, get yourself better, so that whenever we get to day number 1 and we are going to the opening ceremonies and ready to go, we're all ready to perform to the best of our ability.
Great, Rose. Thanks for sharing. Can you tell us something about the impact at that time of a coach like Ari Selinger?
The impact, I think Ari Selinger is a brilliant coach. I think he sees in the girls what he can bring out of them. He has a vision. I felt like he always had a vision for me, where he wanted me to be. And he would talk to me. He would give me information how to get to be the best, one of the best. I think his vision for the team was to get to that final match. His vision was for us to win it for sure, but he wanted us to represent the United States to the best of our ability. And he brought to us many, many different things, and on training, on how to become a better player. Sometime, you know, he was very creative as a coach, making sure that if something was not working, he would think about it and create something new or something different. And so I think we all were just kind of molded into the players that he wanted us to be, and also teach us how to create and be creative on the court, because sometimes, you know, the game doesn't just go A, B, and C. You know, sometimes it goes A and jumps to F and all kind of stuff. So we were always very creative on the court too.
Great. What happened after Olympics? How many years did you spend in the national team after Olympics?
After the Olympics, I signed a contract to go to Japan to play. Okay. And I went to NEC, and it's a computer company. So I went to play there, and I played there for 9 years.
Wow.
And I came back when they moved to San Diego. I came back one summer to see if that's what I wanted to do again, to play on the national team. Well, in the meantime, when I was home, the Japanese organization came in and said they would not take any more Olympic players in their league. So in the league at the time, it was just Flo, maybe it had passed on. It was Rita, Sue Woodstra, myself, and maybe it was one other Brazilian kid there. So they said at that time, no more national team players could play in the league.
From any country?
Right, from any country. So I had to make a decision whether or not I wanted to come back to the USA team, or did I want to stay in Japan?
Right.
Well, economics says the USA team is paying this much money, and Japan is paying that much money. So the economics says I'm going to stay in Japan. So I stayed in Japan, which means that now I cannot go back I could go back to the USA team, but if I would have went back to the USA team, I would not have been able to come back to Japan. Yeah. So several years later, they opened it back up again for Japan, that national team players and professional players could come to Japan. That was like 6 or 7 years later that they made it now a professional league in Japan. So at that point, the national team players could come back. But I was about to retire at that point, and so I retired. Well, I was at NEC for 7 years, and then I went to Daiei. R.A. Selinger came to Daiei to coach over in Japan, and he asked me to come and play with his team then. So I went over to Daiei and played for Selinger again for 2 years, and then I retired.
Mireya was also in Daiei, right? In the Orange
Yes,
Attackers.
she was a couple of years after I was there. So I left, and then Midea came, and I think Paula played at Daiei also.
Yeah.
And I met my husband in Japan.
Oh, really?
Yes, he
Oh,
is.
he's American?
He's American. He was in the Navy.
All right.
So, and he's from Huntsville, Alabama. So that's why I'm in Huntsville. Yes. I married him, and he said, well, let's move to Alabama. And I said, okay, well, I'll go to Alabama with you. Since I married him, I should go with him. So I did. So.
Right. So, well, it's you have to make decisions in life. So you choose Japan, and that's it.
Yes, and I chose Japan, and I don't regret that. I love Japan. You know, I love representing the national team also. That was a wonderful, wonderful time in my life. If it wasn't for that, I would not be who I am today. But representing the United States was most wonderful. The opening ceremonies was absolutely amazing. You know, you have all the countries, you know, you didn't know what to expect. You know, even though we played in several of the smaller games like the World University Games, and they have the ceremonies and stuff like that too, but it's only Americans, you know. So you just don't know that feeling of, you know, all the countries are coming in together, and they're all in their, you know, ceremony wear, and you know, they're marching in, and then you have the Americans. I mean, you have everybody. You have the Michael Jordans, and you have Mary Lou Retton, and you have Karch Karai, and
Carl
all, yes, we are all right there. We're all right there. And it was just so amazing. So amazing. And then you come down the corridor, and the whole world is looking. Yeah. So the opening ceremonies was most amazing. Most amazing. The closing ceremonies was good too, but the opening, oh, wow, just breathtaking.
Yeah, I remember perfectly that opening ceremony in Los Angeles in the Coliseum. It was great.
It was great.
With the rocket man or the flying man, right?
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And then just the atmosphere of everyone is cheering now, and everything is going up, and you can just see your competition, and you can see all the friendlies that's with you. They're marching with you. They got your back. And, you know, it was just an amazing time for me, the opening ceremonies and the Olympics, and moving forward from there. And then once I moved to Huntsville, Alabama, and trying to decide on what I'm going to do with my life afterwards. And my husband is home, and he's got a job, and he's made a home for me to come home to during the time whenever I'm done playing. And then I get the break. I have a home to come home to. What am I going to do now? And I started working a little job at Baskin Robbins, eating ice cream, you know, and it was fun. And then one of the players came in from a high school and says, I did camp with them before. And she says, Rose, would you come and coach our high school team? And I said, that might be fun. So I went and coached at one of the high schools. And then I started helping at different high schools when I come home. Then I started doing camps. And then someone asked me to open a club, and that they would support the club. A lady by the name of Sherry Emmons. She says, why don't you start a club? There was one club in town, but why don't you start another club? So I started the club, and which is now Rocket City Volleyball Club. I started the club, and that's training the kids. That's the travel team, the AAU type of USA Volleyball. So I started a club, Rocket City Volleyball Club, and we have been doing that now for 27 years, the club. And then we would go all over the city to practice at different arenas and stuff like that, different gyms. And so we were looking for a place to call our home, but there was nothing in the Alabama area that had a ceiling tall enough for us. So we started I wrote a business plan and start sticking to that plan to eventually one day have my own gymnasium. So after several years in sticking to that plan, we bought some property and we built the launch pad, which is now the home of Rocket City Volleyball Club. And we carry normally anywhere from 175 to 210 to 20 kids, which is about 21 teams. It's about all we can really kind of carry. So we kind of carry 21 teams and go through and teach the kids anywhere from age 5 to 18 volleyball.
Wow. Well, do you send me some pictures? I will show them.
Okay.
Right now, if you do agree, of course.
Of course.
Well, here's a picture. I think this is the opening ceremony.
Yes, this is the opening ceremony. Oh, wow. I'm so young. So young, the opening ceremonies. You see all those people like back there? I mean, it was just a wonderful, wonderful feeling, a wonderful time. Oh, yeah.
That was in 84 when you were wearing Levi's uniforms, right?
Yes, we were with Levi, and, just different companies come in and did different stuff for us. And I think I still have all of that stuff somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, look.
Oh, yeah. I think I beat the block right there.
Yeah, I think it's Magali, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm Medea Lewis. I think I beat the block. You see the ball? It's past the block.
Yeah,
so
well, number three by sure is Mireya, and I think number 12 is Magali Carvajal.
It's Carvajal, yes.
Yeah.
And Flo Hyman is in the back watching.
In the far right, it's Flo Hyman, number 7.
Yes.
Great,
and so I beat the block at that point, trying to score points, just, enjoying playing.
And you just say, hey, Magali, come on, get out of here. I'm here.
Is it exactly right? You have nothing for me right now.
No, number 9, it's Lili Izquierdo. I don't remember well.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know. I will ask Mireya.
Yeah, ask Mireya. And that picture is from NEC in Japan, playing in Japan. And behind me is Sue Woodstra. Her and I went to the team together, to NEC together. And when we got there, the team was number 7, I think, out of 8 teams. And we went from number 7 to number 3 to number 2 to number 1, eventually winning the championship. So that was just a fun time. The Japanese were very receptive. They took care of us. If we didn't understand, I didn't understand the language at first, my first year there. And so after the first year, they sent us home with books and tapes and stuff like that to read. Well, my husband was, in Japan for 3 years also. So he spoke a little bit of Japanese too. So when I got home with the books that summer, we spoke Japanese to each other the whole summer.
Oh, really?
We read, we speak Japanese, we put words and stuff out because that's what they gave me. So when I went back to Japan, the coach, Sue hadn't come in yet. So our interpreter was not there the first day. And so my coach looks at me and he says to me in Japanese, he said, Rose-san, go minasai, watashi wa nihon ego wakaranai. Which he said, Rose, I'm sorry. I don't speak English. Okay. And so I looked at him and I says, Kuzawa-san, which is his name. And san means, the respect of a coach. Kuzawa-san, daijoubu watashi wa nihongo wakarimasu yo. And so, which I said, Kuzawa-san, no worries, I speak Japanese.
I have a big surprise for you.
Yes, I have a big surprise for you. And so he said, "Sugoi," which means, "Oh, it's so wonderful." And so he started speaking to me in Japanese, and I tell him, "Okay, I understand, but you have to speak more slowly for me." But from that point on, he spoke to me in Japanese.
Oh, great.
So I spoke Japanese to them from my second year to my final year. So for 8 years, I spoke Japanese. Now I cannot remember nothing.
No, you are not anymore fluent in Japanese?
No, not fluent at all. I understand some, but I don't think I could put too many sentences together.
Oh, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing, Rose. Rose, which main differences? Well, we will come back to the pictures later. Which do you think are the main differences? Well, at that time, between American volleyball school and Japanese volleyball school?
I think the Japanese had it right because they would come to the teams, and that was their job. That was their job, and that's what they did. And they did it from 9:00 in the morning till 5:30 in the evening. They fed them breakfast, they fed them lunch, they fed them dinner. And, for a long time, the Japanese were at the top of the top. And so when Selinger got the job, and he felt in order for us to get to be the top of the top or the cream of the crop, we had to do what they did. So that's what we did. We tried to follow. I feel like we followed suit in what the Japanese and a lot of the other teams in the country, in other countries, was doing also. And that was practicing as a team and as a unit together all the time, getting to know each other, getting to know what Flo could do, getting to know what Rita could do, and have no questions about it. So the Japanese, I think they taught us some things about, working as a team and working a long time as a team, so you could kind of just know exactly what everybody's going to do. I knew exactly what balls Rita could get to, And so now I think sometimes we don't know those things because that is just maybe not the system at this moment. The kids are going off to play in the professional leagues to make money, and then they come back and then they train for a while, and then they go represent the United States. But I do think that now is our time. It's our time to go get that gold medal. We have the silver medal 2 or 3 times over. We have a bronze medal, but we don't have the gold yet. So, Karch, I need you to go get that gold.
Well, Karch was here, I think, 4 months ago, and I think he's pretty aware of that, and he badly wants the gold medal.
I'm sure he does. And I'm sure the girls do too, because we've all been right there at it. And now we just got to jump over and get that. It's our time. It's our time.
Last Olympics in Rio, they were so close. I think they have a great team.
Yeah.
But it is what it is,
It is what it is, and now you gotta pivot and come back around, and it's coming again. It's time for him. It's time. You got to be intentional. Got to go get that.
Yeah, well, and they have a 1+ year to prepare for.
They have 1+ year that they do. They do. So it's time. It's and everybody is training. Don't It's not going to be easy. Winning a championship is not easy. I don't care what championship it is, if it's high school, if it's middle school, if it's college, winning a championship is not easy. Because everybody is going for that same thing. Everybody wants that. And it's not easy to do. It takes work. It takes diligence. It takes being intentional. It means turning around and pivoting sometime and look at it again and regroup. It's not easy, but it takes the strong that is committed to each other to really go after that gold medal or that championship, because it's not easy.
Yes, right. These guys, Randy Stoklos, Engine Smith, they were in the show, I think in June or July, and Randy has a great quote that says, "Hey guys, sigh it out one more time. The other guys are feeling exactly the same," and I love that quote.
Yes, yeah, one more time. And they used to have, at one point in the game, you only had to win by 1 point. And we would always say we just needed to be one ball better than the other team. But now it's back to you have to win by 2. But at one point, it was just being one ball better was okay.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we will go back with the pictures, Rose.
Okay.
We were right here in Japan
Yeah.
with NEC. Oh, well, this picture is amazing with the Levi uniform.
Yeah. It was a very, it's the colors was always rich in that uniform. They did some good things with that. I have my medal around my neck, and then I have the other one is like participation medals from the Olympics. And just, they gave us all these different things that would always represent that your path, the Olympics and stuff like that. They gave us a beautiful gold chain medallion that had volleyball, a little volleyball person on it. And it was in a box. It was like a little box with the medallion on it. And then it had the Olympic rings up under it. And my youngest son wears it every day.
Wow.
He wears it every day. I'm so proud of it. And he found it in my drawer and he says, "Mom, can I have this?" I says, "Yes, you can." And so he wears it every day proudly.
Great. How many sons do you have, Rose?
I have 2 sons. I have one, his name is William. My oldest son's name is William Powell, and he played basketball at Seattle U. Wow. And did a great job there. My youngest son, his name is Brandon Powell, and he plays at Alabama A&M, where I coach at. And volleyball. So he plays basketball.
Oh, okay.
And so, and he's getting a degree in computer science and cybersecurity. And my oldest son has his degree in business administration and working now on some being an analyst. So they're doing great things. And I'm very, very proud of these 2 wonderful young men.
Great, congratulations. But none of them went for volleyball.
No, they did not go for volleyball. Now, my youngest son played volleyball for a little bit, just messing around in the gym. And he was becoming very good. But, in Alabama, there's no volleyball. So that means that they think it's a girl's sport. Yeah. So he went to basketball and baseball. They both played baseball and basketball and football. So they're very athletic. They were very, very athletic. And my oldest son, when he finished playing, was going to go overseas to play, had talked to a Japanese agent at one point. And then he just decided he was going to go into the working world. And so he's been working ever since.
Okay, great. Congratulations, Rose. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Hey, look, this is a great picture.
Yeah, a great picture. Flo and I sitting and just having some conversations. she was always talk to me about, becoming a good person, being a good person, being able to represent the team, being a good teammate was always, something she would always want to make sure we talked about sometime. And then Lori is looking on, Lori Corbelli was looking on, and we're just sitting there just having conversation, finish eating and having a good conversation about, just character traits. And, we had always talked about it when we get done, what are we going to do? And it was to train kids, to do kids, but never cut anybody. Just don't cut anybody. Just play. Let the kids play. So that's what do we do now?
Yeah, we will show some picture of the facility, but I want to ask you about the legacy of Flo Hyman. I mean, a lot of young people doesn't even hear about Flo Hyman, but well, I remember her very well. It was an icon, and what do you think is the legacy of people like Flo Hyman?
Flo Hyman was a statue of greatness. She was always competitive. She always wanted to do her best. She always wanted to be a very good teammate. She took me under her wing and just always kind of just helped me work if I was having a difficult time in a practice. She would always come by and say, hey, you got this. Don't worry. You're going to be okay. Just make it through the day, especially in the beginning. Just make it through the day. Just take it one day at a time. You're going to be okay. Don't worry. She was just a person that these kids really, really need to know the history of volleyball coming through, that where it started from, the players that played it. Got to know the players. Out of sight means out of mind. And so Flo has been passed on now many, many years. And there's a lot of people that don't even know who she is. But in my eyes, she was still a icon and a leader. And if she was still here today, she would still be doing the exact same thing, developing players, giving back to the game. And so I think she was just a person that people really, really do need to know more about.
Yeah, well, and that is, Rose, one of the main reasons that I started the show 6 months ago, that the new generations can know players who were here before us. People like you, like Karch, of course, like Marcos Milinkovic from Argentina, Woganda from Argentina, Cecilia Tain, Mireya Luis, all of those people that they paved the way in a lot of ways, right? Uh,
Right.
and it's they they built volleyball before us. They were before us, and they were very, very important.
Yes, and she did. She put a path out there for us to follow. And so, we always wanted to, and I always wanted to make sure that, I competed hard and with her the whole time. I knew she had my back, and I had her back too whenever we were on the court,
Yeah, right.
So it was times on the court when we would get to the front row, she's like, okay, Pearl, we got to make points now. I said, okay, we got to get it. And so I picked up this name Pearl we were in Puerto Rico when we had the World Championships in '83.
Yeah.
And it was a picture there that in the newspaper that came out, and I was hitting and Flo and Rita was covering, and it said the Black Pearls. And so I got stuck with the nickname of Pearl. So that was it.
Great. Thanks for sharing this. A great picture, Rose.
Yes, it is. Oh, and those are my sons. The one with the black shirt on, that's William. and he's in Seattle. And then the one with the blue shirt, that's Brandon, my youngest. And the red shirt is my husband, Harry. And we're just home. My son had come home for Christmas. And so we were opening up Christmas presents and just enjoying some family time.
Oh, well, great. Thanks.
And this is in my building. We train the kids from age 5 to 18. And so this one we start them on the ground with one knee up, and it helps them with their platform. It never fails us. They work on the one knee for a long time, just making sure they have a good platform and finishing to the target. But that's the building. It's a wonderful building, probably one of the better it's a great building.
How many courts do you have inside?
We have 3 courts, 3 volleyball courts, and 1 full-length basketball court. And my husband is a mixed martial artist. So he teaches MMA. And so in the back end of the gym, there's an MMA dojo there too. And then we have an upstairs where we do speed and agility and stuff. So we have a great facility that these kids come to, and they do camps and clinics and prep programs, and we do basketball and we do pickleball in it, and we have all sorts of things going on in that gym just to make sure that it keeps working.
Oh, great.
It has been a blessing. So here, all the way in the back upstairs in the dark area up there, that's where the speed and agility room is. And then where you see the basketball court in the back and the little lights or windows, that is where the dojo is. And then we have our 3 courts, okay? And right now we're working on setting. We have the little ones that we're working on setting. Just everybody in the gym learns to set a ball, because everybody needs to know how to set a ball, because at some point in a game, you may have to set a ball, and you don't want to be shaken whenever you have to set a ball. So everyone learns to set a ball.
What's the name of the club?
The club is Rocket City Volleyball Club.
Rocket City Volleyball.
Uh-huh. And we call it RCVC for short.
RCVC.
Uh-huh.
City. Okay.
And again, that's one of my little bitty ones. I think she's about 7 or 8 years old. So she's working on her serving, and you see the basketball courts on the side. We have a great floor in there, and we have an adult league that comes in, and they play there also. And the floor it's a Mondo flooring, and it's kind of softer, for everybody, not just for the adults, but for everybody. It's a great floor. And that's, again, one of my young players learning to pass. And I think she's about 9. She's 9 years old. Yeah.
Well, that is the last picture. Thanks a lot, Rose.
Okay.
I want to ask you something about the club volleyball.
Okay.
Here in Mexico, we have a very different system of in young ages for volleyball. How does exactly works club volleyball in the United States? Because I think I know that it's huge. Is the first step after going to AAU or going to college. How does exactly works club volleyball?
Okay, so club volleyball, it starts, I think we have age 11, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, and 16s, 17s, and 18s. So they come in and they try out. Now, for my club, I've never cut a kid, ever, because you don't know why a kid is playing. In today's world, there's bullying. The kids, this may be their space that they need so that they can maybe get away from home sometime, that, maybe they're an only child and they need other friends. So we have never cut a player. We've always placed the player on a team according to their skill level. So we have different levels. We have a national team, which are the best players for that age group. We have the national team, then we have a regional team, which is a team that travels only within the region. The national team level can go all over the country, all over the USA. And then we have a club level that maybe just travels 4 or 5 tournaments. And then we have an in-house that only plays in-house, okay? Now, as the kids grow through the process and they're on the national team level, and those kids are the kids that's looking to go to the college. And we don't tell them that Division I is the only level that you can go to. There's a level of play for a lot of kids. There's junior college. There is D2, D2, and D1. So there's a level of play for everybody. So we just want them to know that they have an opportunity. And so I hire these coaches to train them. So the coaches are sometimes college players. Some of them are high school coaches. Some of them are players that are coaches that just want to coach. They have regular jobs, but they enjoy coaching players also. So we hire these coaches to come in and coach these 21 teams. And they coach them and take them to tournaments. And they go to many, many, many different tournaments. They have the AAU national tournament. They have the USA national tournament. If you qualify, you take them there. So it's a big organization that allows the kids the opportunity to play volleyball, to get themselves better. And if they choose to go off to the college, they can. If they don't, they just play volleyball. And that's a lot of the kids. They do just play volleyball. Some of them don't want to go to college to play volleyball. They just want to be a part of a team that has good character, that is teaching them more than just volleyball. It's life skills also. And in those life skills is teaching them how to work together as a team, work with someone, that there's going to be difficult times and you got to know how to handle them. So volleyball and Junior Olympic volleyball teaches them so many things. And with them learning those things along with playing volleyball, I think it makes for a well-rounded young woman coming out. And so that's how the volleyball is ran here. And there's a lot of clubs around. I mean, volleyball is one of the biggest. So many kids are playing the game. It's a lot.
Yeah. Rose, there's a monthly or annually fee for join the club?
Yes, there's a fee for them to play because, you still have to pay bills. We still have to pay bills. They still have to get paid for the tournament fees. You have to pay the coaches. Some of the coaches do come in and do some for volunteer. Some of the college players may come in and do it for an internship, stuff like that. But it is a fee, and the fee can range anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 or even more. Some of the bigger clubs, it may be even $7,000, $8,000 for them to play club. Yeah.
Wow.
It's but they do a lot of traveling. They do a lot of traveling. That includes, some of that includes travel, airline tickets, hotels. So it has to be that much because, going to some tournaments sometimes is $400 to $900. So it is very expensive, and we don't have, you don't have grants and you don't have scholarships or stuff like that. So the parents are, paying it on a monthly basis.
Yeah, well, I was asking that because in Mexico works a lot different. In Mexico, you have an annual competition called Junior Olympics. We have 32 states, and in the first step, you have county competitions. You have one team by county, and then you go to state, and you have one champion of the state going to national, just one.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's,
Wow.
I think that's very restrictive, because you have, at least at the end, you have only one chance in a year going to a national event. And
Wow.
I think it's, well, it's very sad. It's a matter of money, of course, but at the end, uh, all of these teams, uh, they are held by an association of each state has an association of volleyball, like you have regions.
Okay.
uh, if the president of the association, they don't like you, he doesn't sign your paper, and you can go to the national competition.
Really?
Yeah, really,
No,
that's,
we are, independently, and we're independent club, and all the clubs are independently owned, and everybody goes to just different tournaments. There's a lot of tournaments that the kids can go to, all from now till June, from now to June. And we have our older kids tryouts on this coming Saturday. So we had our tryouts for our 14 and unders. And so we have 12 teams there, about 120 kids. And then this next group will come in, and we'll probably pick up about 70, 80, 90 kids. And then next week we'll start with our skill training and jump training program, and start getting them ready for competition in January, if the COVID let us.
yes.
They're already shutting down many countries already.
Yeah. In which city will be held next year national?
Las Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope
And
I
I
can.
think my team is already ready. They're already, oh, Rose, we're ready to go to Las Vegas.
Yes, of course. I love Vegas.
Yeah, we all love Vegas. So they're already ready. They're like, Rose, we got to get our tickets for Vegas. Got to get our ticket. I say we got to punch our ticket first. You know.
Perfect. Okay, Rose, I want to go back a little to your player days.
Okay.
Which player you play middle, right, in the national team and in Japan?
Yes.
Which player at that time was the hardest for you to block?
Carvajal.
Who?
Carvajal out of Cuba.
Magali. Yeah, Magali Carvajal.
Magali. Yeah. She was hard to block. She was hard to block.
Yeah, it's very
And
strong.
Long Ping, yeah, very strong. And Long Ping was Jenny Long Ping was very difficult to block also. You know, when I got to the national team, I didn't play middle. I played right side and left side.
Yeah, you
And
told
then
me.
about 6 months before the Olympics, he moves me to the middle. And I was trying to figure out what was he thinking. But, so I played, but when I got to Japan, I played middle the whole time. And then 1 year, he moved me out to the outside again. But before that, I played right side and left side. And then I went to the middle. And so, and the position that I liked the best was right side, opposite the setter. Yeah. Because I could be free to do a lot of things. I could go around, I could hit behind, I could come in quick, I could do a lot of things. So, but that was my most favorite position.
Oh, great, thanks. And the hardest teams you faced, which one? I can imagine Cuba, China,
They were
someone else.
hard. Cuba, China was hard. They were hard. They were all hard. I mean, like I said, it's hard to win a championship. It's hard to win ball games when you're playing those teams. Whenever Medea Lewis came on the scene, she was only 16, and I was really kind of glad I was going to be retired whenever she got old enough to carry the team, because she was a beast at 16. And so, but I guess China would have been the hardest team to play because they were, still so dominant. They were like not machines, but they were so hard to break. They didn't say too much to anybody. They just got on the court and did the business, you know? So I guess it would have to be China was the hardest team to play.
And for next year Olympics, Rose, which teams are your favorites?
Ooh, of course, USA, I want them to be in that final match. But I guess, I don't know, it's going to be in Japan. And I like Japan because I was there for 9 years, and I would love to go to the Olympics, go to Japan to see the Olympics. So I guess Serbia, was it Serbia that won it last year?
Yeah.
They did a great job. They snuck in on everybody and won it the last Olympics. So will they be there again? I don't know. But I guess USA, I would want them to be the team to really step in and surprise everybody.
Yes, I hope so too. Serbia is great, as you're saying, it's great.
Yeah.
Italy
Yeah.
is doing great.
Yeah.
Brazil, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And I'm not even sure. I don't know right offhand who all was qualified to go to the Olympics, but I think again the championship is going to be hard, but I think with this extra year of play, how is it going to affect the players at this moment? Because it's mentally tough to say, okay, I done geared up for this. I've worked for 4 years to get there again, and now it's taken away because of COVID. And now I have to mentally pivot and come back and see if I'm mentally ready again at this time, because you're gearing up and you only got 45 days before the Olympics, and now it's gone. So now you have to go back and regroup again. So how is it going to affect not only just USA team, but it's going to affect everybody. It is affecting everybody right now. How are they going to regroup and be ready for this Olympics if it happens this time around?
Yeah, of course, and also considering the club season has started a few months ago. Then in the summer came the national team season, and the players hasn't been trained very well. I think
Right.
it's going to be very challenging next year.
It's going to be very challenging, and again, if the country have to shut down and slow down again, it could be very, very, very damaging to the teams. They're not training well, or with the watchful eye of coach, making sure that they're doing the right things all the time, and weight training, speed training, and all those things. You could ask for a lot of injuries at that point too.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's see what's happened. Um, Rose, which person, which people were your great influences or role models back in your playing years?
My role model and the person that gave me so much strength and energy would have to be my mother and father, for sure. They were in my corner. They were making sure whenever I would call home and I'm frustrated or I'm crying, my mom would always tell me, honey, pray about it and see what tomorrow brings. Pray about it, get some sleep, see what tomorrow brings. So she was always my mom and dad was, if I got close to Texas, they were there. When the Olympics came, they were there. When I was in Japan, they were there. And then I think the next person that would be most inspirational would be Ruth Nelson. That always, and is still a very, very dear friend for me right now, and keeps me balanced would be Ruth Nelson for sure. And then I guess they were my backbone, and and then really another true friend of mine that we compete against each other now is Penny Lucas White, that coaches at Alabama State, has always been in my corner and has always, we always talk on the phone, and we were never strangers. Even if I didn't see her for a while, I played with her at LSU whenever we went to LSU. And then whenever she was going to quit, I had to go to her house and talk to her about not leaving the sport. But she has been, a true friend, not only just on volleyball, but even now in today's world and in today's times, we're still very, very, very close and keep each other motivated and looking at different things in our life right now, because COVID has come in and shut our seasons and stuff down, but we are still trying to figure out and talk to each other, make sure everybody's mentally okay. So we I guess again, my mom and dad would be the people that in my family would be the people that just kept me going all the time. And my oldest sister now, we talk on the phone every single day. Every day, every morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock, you can rest assured we're on the phone talking.
Thanks a lot, Rose, for sharing. We are next to the end of this talk. Thanks a lot again, Rose. Can you tell me something about what do you think the next pro league that is intended to start in February in Nashville?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think this is it?
I think they have a model that is different. I think the kids, the players, are very good players and I think they want to take it to the next level for professional league in volleyball. And I wish them much success. I do plan to go and watch some of the matches. I think that, like I said, it's a different model than what, the other leagues have done. And I think they got to give it a try and see if that's going to work for them. But I think the players that they've invited to come in to play are top of the line. And being top of the line, as long as the structure is good and everybody is committed to the vision, it will be okay.
And what do you think was the reason they choose Nashville, Tennessee?
I don't know. I think it was maybe because there is a facility there that they could use as practice, and that is the biggest thing. If they have a facility that they could use, that they could also play games in, that they didn't have to. Maybe the finances would be a little bit more controlled, that it wouldn't cost them a whole lot of money to go rent a facility. But they have this facility up there that they can use, they can practice in. I think it's like 8 courts in there, so they have lots of space. Then you can also just fix it where people can come in and have matches there also. So maybe it was something with, financing and renting a facility that Nashville is a pretty good little city too, the country and Western. I love the country Western music. So I think, it would be, Atlanta, it's kind of busy, so I don't know. I think Nashville will be okay if the model is fine. I think they got a good model that they're a good vision, what they're trying to do with it. So therefore, if they can follow that vision and everybody's committed to the vision and to the purpose and to the cause, I think they'll be okay.
Okay, well, I wish them the best, of course.
Me too.
Everybody we in the volleyball world want to grow the game, of course, and that's
Yes.
big news.
And I think it's a big volleyball community in Nashville, in that area. So too, they'll have a lot of kids and young kids and players that'll come and support them. So, and they don't have to battle with a NBA team. There's a football team down the road, but they don't have to battle with a basketball team. They don't have to battle with a baseball team. It's just football, and it's a different season. So they just have them that, people will want to come and see them and not have to worry about NBA basketball.
Yeah, of course. I have two more questions for you, Rosa. And thanking you again for this time. Did you play the beach volleyball?
No.
Have you ever tried?
No.
Never.
I go out on the sand, and I played one time, and I got sunburned. I did not know that Black people could burn like that. I didn't know. I put the sunscreen on, but I didn't know that I had to keep putting it on. So I got sunburned, and I said, no, I'm not doing that again. And plus, the sand gets everywhere.
Yes.
That's just
it goes everywhere, and the sands can keep in your shoes for 5 years.
Yeah. So I got sunburned, and the sand was everywhere. So I didn't like that. I don't want to be that dirty, So and I was
I totally agree with you. I don't like sand for that. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere. So I was like, I don't want to be this dirty. So I didn't play sand anymore. Now I'll go out and play with my club team whenever we have a party, but that's it. But that's all. No.
Well, and the last question, Rose, it's which real Mexican food do you like the most?
Real Mexican food.
Because you gotta know, Chipotle and Taco Bell are not Mexican food.
Oh, I know. I'm from Texas. Texas. And so, when I was growing up, on the left side of me, there was a Mexican family, and they made the homemade tortillas and the beans, the refried beans, and all kind of stuff. So I would have to say my most favorite Mexican food is going to be chili rellenos, where they have the pepper and all the stuffing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah, they're great.
Yes, that would be my most favorite. And now, nowadays they have at the Mexican restaurant is fish tacos, and I love fish tacos too.
Oh, great choice.
Yeah. So I like that too.
You ever played volleyball here in Mexico? No.
I don't think we did.
For Norseca, the World Junior Olympics, the World Junior Championships were held here in '81.
I don't think I was with that team.
Okay. Have you ever been in Mexico? Mexico City now?
I think we have, but I can't remember.
Okay.
We went so many places. So I don't think we went to Mexico. We went to Puerto Rico. We went to Peru. No, we didn't go to Mexico.
Okay. Well, Rose Magers, right?
Magers.
Rose Magers Powell. It has been a great honor for me. It was a very fun, very entertaining talk with you. Thanks a lot. Please, can you send some final words for the people who are watching?
Thank you so much. And I truly enjoyed getting on here today and talking with you, and you bringing me back and having me talk about my path and my life. It has been wonderful. And the people that, are watching, thank you guys for coming in and listening to my story. And, I just want to always be here if the young kids need me. I just want to be a part of their life. If volleyball is just such a sport that I love, and volleyball is something that you can continue to do all the time. Just love what you do. Keep doing it as much as you can, and just enjoy volleyball. I love it.
Yeah, what can I tell you? It's the greatest sport in the world.
That it is, and you can do it a long time, and I like that. I just love playing volleyball. I love teaching it now. I can't play anymore. I can, I don't jump anymore. I had 3 surgeries on my right Achilles tendon and one on my left. So I'm grounded. So no more jumping for this girl.
Okay, but well, I think that we, the people of volleyball, we have the commitment to keep growing the game.
Yes,
You
most
know.
definitely. Yes.
Okay,
So,
well, Rose, thanks a lot again. Please stay safe, and hope to see you next year in Vegas. Maybe, why not?
okay. All right. If you're going to be in Vegas, I'll be in Vegas. You're going?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, why not?
Oh,
There's some Mexican clubs goes every year to
they
Vegas.
do. They do.
Yeah,
They
and
do.
I know them very well. Well, I also love Vegas. I have been in Vegas, I think, 9 times. I have been in Vegas 9 times.
Oh, boy.
Vegas is a great city, and Vegas plus volleyball is
Yes.
a great combination.
Great combination. Again, thank you for having me, and I truly enjoyed it, and I'm always available. And thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rose.
All
Thanks.
right, bye bye.
Gracias a todos los que nos vieron. Thanks to all the people who was watching us. See you, Rose. Take care,
All
please.
right, bye bye.
Bye bye.